Greetings, Dreamweaver world. I trust you are all obeying my commands around the world. It is of the utmost importance that you put me first ahead of everyone. My commands are unconditional and they are top priority, no matter where you live on the planet. Um, Obeying me is the priority uh, for a variety of reasons, but just understand that I'm not doing this as a guilt trip or a power trip or anything like that. I'm doing this for humans. I don't even want to. I don't want to do this mission, especially now. Humans are so shitty, it's just like, whatever. But I see things are changing, so it just needs to wait. I just need to wait, basically is all it is. But they want to get on video. But the cool thing about it is if they do anything too reckless, I got it on video. More proof to add to it. Some people say they got a mountain of proof. I got a whole mountain range of proof. So I know exactly what I'm doing all the time. But so it's my mission. The only way you can have a good leader is the guy who doesn't want to lead, which is me, because I'm not going to make wrong decisions. I'll always stick to what's right instead of leaning into corruption, uh, or anything like that. And of course, no greed because I don't really want to do it anyway. The perks are going to be great. The perks are being king, yeah. But I it gets to the point where I don't need to get mad about it anymore. Like I've already taken it to exactly the level it needs to be. Uh, whatever happens and whatever has happened in the past 11 and a half years, you know, um, I've endured it, and it's something that not only can I put on my resume, so to say, but yeah, everybody knows that I don't lie. I've been through the worst, and I still never gave in to anything at all. Um, so everything really is good, and they're so annoying. But Megan causes the most pain, and but I'm it's not so much that I'm used to it, but like my tolerance of pain is incredible. It's like I can take endless pain. It's just like whatever. But that's part of relationships anyway. Is that the whole part of trusting is that you're gonna get hurt. If you live your life and you don't trust anybody, well, you're gonna have that kind of relationship, those kind of relationships in your life. You understand? But I teach a true reality where the solid ground really is. So even though most people can't see it, you can. You know, and especially if I've called you to service, you are bound to this. You understand? And this just isn't even kingdom people. Like I said, no matter where you are, you got to do what I tell you to do. That's the rules. You understand? You have universal rules that no human can tamper with. Out of reach, and then within those universal rules, you have democracy, and that's basically what my psychological government's all about. Gun problems. They talk about gun problems, but it really is the heart. That's how I've created peace on earth. Is that I've healed the people. You understand what I mean? Uh, Ironically, in government, which isn't really that ironic because it's all part of the takeover plan. And it's just everything is so set forever. Seriously, and like this is literally forever. So I just have to go. I just have to keep going through the bullshit. I've been enjoying this time off. Still a lot of things that I've found in hyperspace. It's kind of like archaeology, but it's kind of like hunting down treasure in a different way, like in hyperspace, to where I can bring these ideas back down to earth, so to speak, and teach it to where everybody can understand. Because that's the cool thing about my teaching. It's the unit discipline. It's the discipline above all other disciplines. You understand what I'm saying? So I've got it going on all levels. They keep thinking that they can affect me or whatever, but they can't. They can't. As far as like as far, how do I want to say this? As far as my romantic relationships go, there was a time that that I made things public. You know, particularly Sabrina and I, but all the women that I'm interested in. Well, now that's changing. Okay, the new fall series is going to be totally different, but they're all different. You know, one to the next. There's something new that I add or take away, or a few things, or move stuff around and stuff like that. I'm actually going to work as like a 7 to 8 day work week. I've got this routine. I'm going to be like just banging out awesome stuff all the time. It's going to be awesome, and it's something that I can do for the fall series. This new schedule, this new routine, and really throughout the winter if I need to. Until my situation changes. But I'm always ready for that. So don't expect too much about the romance stuff. Um, I am going to clean it up a bit, but I hesitate to say that because if I say that, for instance, if I say, well, instead of being rated X, from now I'm going to be rated R. You know what I mean? It's just like people get the wrong idea because then they think movies, but that's not really what it is. It's all about this fall series. Every series is good for the next one. Well, this one, I'm putting so much more time in it, just like when I was homeless working 8 hours a day, the same stuff because I want to get this document. Well, you could say the script. I want to get it perfect. For one, to feed it into a computer, to make it as easy as possible for a computer to do it. Uh, and for another thing, just getting everything out on record. You know what I mean? It's just like, um, I am developing all of this evidence, and they all laughed while I was collecting the evidence, right? And now they're all screwed, Last September on my birthday, I ended the persecution. I know, right? The person being persecuted ended the persecution. But that's what it was all about during homelessness and all that. It was about being at the mercy of the people, and they proved to everyone, and including myself, they drug me through the dirt. They treated me like shit, and up till this day, I can't go anywhere without them tampering with something. It's just so pathetic. Well, anyway, I ended it September. All right. And now September's here again. And so this whole year has been the aftermath. You understand what I'm saying? This is kind of like as the dust settles, right? And so on my birthday, I'm going to be ending the aftermath. I've proved to everyone who pays attention that the United States government is dead, just like I said it would a year ago. And of course, that'll all finalize on my birthday, which is on the 18th, into the fall series, which is on the 22nd, after that weekend. So I got it all turbocharged. This fall series is going to be awesome. Like I said, whether I go to New York or wherever I am in 26, I've already got a plan for that. Already working, already doing everything. So I wanted to give you an update, you could say, but at the same time, it's also a warning. You people want to you want interaction with me instead of doing what I say. You want entertainment instead of doing work. That's why they keep trying to piss me off all the time. So they have interaction. They can get on audio or camera or something, and they can get more. They can get people to pay attention to them more if they have more stuff like that. Or, for instance, say those two assistant coaches on the Liberty who are going to be so punished. It's just like you people don't fucking understand that I don't have to react. You understand? That's why I make the commands. That's why I post them often. You understand? You got the basic knowledge of me. I'm never going to break these things. I have been the same since my completed repentance in 2012, the spring of 2012. So I have never broke. I have never sinned. Even before that, it's all transition. So uh, I know what I'm doing, and all you new people think this is new. Uh, and even in life, you think all these experiences are new. I've had quite a bit of experience, of course. 52-year-old heartthrob. What can I say? What can I say? I'm awesome. That's what I can say. Anyway, my point is that I don't need to post these rules all the time. We don't need to talk about it again. That's the whole thing about the basic knowledge of me. You understand? So we don't have to. So I don't have to talk about all that stuff anymore. We can rise up to the next level, and your mind isn't perverted. You're not thinking sex anymore. You're putting sex where it should be, a small part of a relationship, really, to when it where it encompasses the main part of everything. You can't go along. You can't succeed with a dirty mind. You can't. You can think dirty things, but if you got a dirty mind and that's all you see and you spread it around to other people, you're going to be accountable for that. You understand? It's easy to make codes. It's easy to do subliminal messaging. It's easy to do all of these things that were once thought, oh, this is so mysterious. How could the government do that? But it's easy to do. The government's so worthless, and so I'm proving it. And so I got it all done. Any of you ladies, as far as Sabrina, I've got her separated from the whole thing, from the Dreamweaver construct. So no matter what happens in that relationship, it won't affect the construct. You understand? And that's the same for all the women too. If all the women that I want, of course, you know me. If I want you, you understand. So all these women that I know, I'm not waiting for Sabrina. I would like for her to be the first one that I've had sex with in over a decade. It's just like so. But I'm looking for any of you girls to come over, especially all you actresses. You're so close, most of you, and you're in the WNBA. Y'all will be, depending on when your season is over or going to be over soon. So, the quicker you get here, the better. I'm not after your money. I don't give a crap about your money. I always say just keep your money in a separate bank account if you care that much about it. You know what I mean? But you better not be worshiping money. You better not put money ahead of me, because once you put money ahead of me, you're automatically going to lose. No idols are real, including money. They don't exist. No gods or goddesses, just one God, and that's me. All right, I'll probably shoot another video once the series gets going. Here we go. Let's listen. They do this shit all the time. They just want attention. They just want me to interact with them. That's what them finish. They're like little kids, playing with their toy trucks. Okay. So anyway, what I usually do when the series begins is wait 2 or 3 days and then shoot a video after that. After things get going, kind of like a pep talk in a way, just to keep you updated. All right, that turned out to be pretty good. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to talk about, but I've covered it all. Remember, I'm not going to get angry. I have reached this new level of patience, but it really has nothing to do with anger, because I love anger. Anger is a gift. Anger is transcendent. I use anger as a weapon. You know what I mean? So you better watch out, because I'm unstoppable. Even if you believe in me or not, I'm unstoppable, and this is going to happen whether you want it or not. Do you understand? No one can stop me, and I invite you to try. But make sure you're worth my time. Peace.